Hey, it's Ben. Just want to talk about Plenti, go through some of its features and the file structure, and just get so you can get a bit of an understanding. But Plenti is an open source build time render engine or rendering engine. It's also called a static site generator. The templates are based on Svelte, and it has a command line interface that's written in Go, and so the builds are quite fast. This is their website. That just to point you to the docs. There's themes, which is a good idea to have a look at. I've built some of these. This one in particular has a lot going on under the hood, so you could have a look at this one. Pull it down, and if you like, but it's got blogs, which categories, tags, pagination, which is all sort of pretty much built in, and lots of different pages, teachers that are related to courses, or if I go to the courses, you'll see that there's teachers attached to the course, and that's all been dynamically set up. So anyway, just come back. So let's have a look. I just want to bring up the site that I'm currently working on. So the main, I guess the difference that Plenti brings to the table for an SSG is that it integrates Git. It has a Git back CMS. It ships, with the project. So basically, you get a fully integrated editing experience, that runs directly in the browser of your local site or the deployed site. So you don't need any separate server or service. It's an architecture that is designed around making this type of workflow with a CMS pretty seamless, and it integrates with a CI build. You can see that it loads with the editing buttons at the top, or the admin, I guess you would call it. If I click on the edit, you get then the overview of how the CMS integrates. So you've got a visual look, which is this one, and you can see the components that are on this page, the index page. You can open up the component and you can see the data. This one is reflecting the template because I've set it up to. Otherwise, these components are just bringing. See this one, for example, the services. The next one, you can see the data is different because I haven't set it up to match the fields here. But it's still bringing the Svelte template across. So, but basically the way it works is you can make changes here. If I just go back to the page, you can have a look here at the top, make a change here, it changes here. So basic text fields, images, that image is not there, but basically you can change the image. You have the library which points to the folders in your file structure. You can upload and that type of thing. So that's the basic editing experience. You can expose these, you can or you can disable fields, you can have a lot of overrides here. But and then of course, just to end here, it will save that change back to the file system locally. Left click, save committed, and it is committing that change. So locally, if I have a look now at the files, that's gone to 10. Okay, so that's actually reflected here. And if this was connected to the server, like to your host, it would then go through the build process every time you save it, CI, and then build through the API back to the host. So basically, that it's a continuous integration process here. So really neat. That's probably the unique feature that it's you get this type of experience in the browser. So let's just come back into the site and you can have a look at the structure and close it all up for now. I've got a lot of open because I was sort of building. Let's have a look. Yep, I will just close this. This is just going to be a template, but we'll just change out the content for the template. But anyway, come back to the code. All right, so Plenti has content folder where all the content lives. So here you can see, don't worry about this one, but here I've got it set up with a pages folder. There's the testimonials outside, but basically all the content in the content folder is JSON. And this is the way you can structure your site, having the index here within the pages folder or content type. And this is your data source, and they're just individual files. So if I just quickly look at the index, you see we've got an array of components, and they start off with a name. So you've got the name of the component and then the fields. The names of the fields here just make sense for me. This is how I've sort of set it up, and it's modeled off the HTML structure. So the buttons, you can see button 1, button 2, the stats, the stars, the icons, etc. So that's how that works. And of course the next component is next after that, which is this one, and that will be the next one here, which is this services here, and so on for the index. So they just go on, and I was just I finished this one, but I haven't done any of these, and these aren't really matching anyway. You can see this is from the previous site that I built. For this one, we'll have a look here. There's an about us, there's reviews, services, locations, blog, but basically that's the data source. And if we keep going down, we have a layouts folder. We'll just keep it simple, but the layouts folder has all your templates, which is all Svelte files. Here, let's just go into the components. So these are all the Svelte components, okay? And I've just named them as the stitch name, so it's easy to reference and make sense of when you're building out the site. So, for example, here, there's a script tag. If you don't know Svelte, you just basically, the structure is you have a script at the top if you need it, a HTML under that, and you can have scope styles under that if you want. So for example, if I go to the hero, I think I might have the heroes CSS below that. And the way this of course, when I started to put this together, I just copied the styles and put them into the Svelte component just for convenience. But later you don't have to leave them here. You can then put them in a separate CSS file, the same, using the same sort of structures that the 11T theme does. But basically they're still here because I haven't moved them. But that's the great thing about the Svelte components, is that they still render because they're scoped into the components. You can just leave them here, and all of the styles here get applied to the section on the page, just like that. So that's what's cool about that. All right, and then let's come back up here. We have a content, and that content folder matches, it mimics the data source. You can see here we've got a pages folder, so a content folder, and then we've got a pages Svelte file here, which really informs and basically sets up the structure for this pages folder. You've got a testimonials Svelte here. I've got a testimonials JSON that matches, because the idea is that the data source is here, and the template is here. So you can see we've removed the fields, the values, and put them into the JSON file over here. There's the banner subtitle, banner title. You just export the values here, and it just all works. For example, if I come back in here, you can see the banner subtitle. See banner.subtitle, title, and those values come through. All right. So that's that. The only other one is the global, which is sort of pretty self-explanatory in a sense. You can see it's got the HTML, it's got the header. Now I've got two headers because I'm working on moving over the functionality of the original one, all here, the on-click events and stuff like that, into the new footer and the header. That's those ones, the head and the footer. There's the head, and so the HTML and the header here. You can see the head, which is basically you get all that metadata. What else here? The imports like the links, etc. You bring in the your style sheets and stuff like that. That's all there. And then the header or the nav, that's here. And we do have a login, that's a part of the CMS, so allowing for you to log in. I think what's important here is you must have a HTML file, svelte file here for this to work. And if we just take this down, so that has all the imports, then it has the, where is it? Oh yes, the authentication for the user, this prop here, the user, and and then of course the main structure of the site. But basically this is bringing all of the components, and you can see the header and the footer around those two. So basically that's the structure. Scripts, you can have anything else in here. That's a JavaScript file. So media, so we go on, we have a medias folder. As you can see that you can set up this is however you like, with images and SVGs. Images, media in Plenti is what is exposed in the browser, in the media browser that I showed you before. But the static is anything that's not you don't want the users to get access to, like the fonts and the CSS and things like that. So you would put that in the static folder. Public is just obviously the build folder. So everything, once it gets built, it gets put there. And you can do, there's a CLI. You can do Plenti serve to run the site, and even build it. So if I deleted this, you would just, rebuild it. Moving on, down here, this is the important one. This is like a configuration file for Plenti. So basically where all of the structure of the routes and the route overrides. We can have base URL if you like. There's also the CMS, and this is important for how the CMS works. Pointing to your repo, the redirect URL, and then of course the app ID, which is what authenticates you into the app. That's pretty much it. But basically, there's some other things I probably want to talk about. Let's just build like a new Plenti site so you can just see how it works. Let's just go into a folder here, and all you do is you type for a new site. So this is like a template, basic template, Plenti new site, and then this is we'll just call it an test Easter, and this is going to build a new site in this folder. And you can see it's successfully created Easter, and you can see that it's here, and you can see the content. And I'll just have a quick look. We'll just move to that one so you can see it. Let's open up a new window. Let's just get out of this one, bring this one over here, and pull this one in. All right, so it's the same structure, and I'll just make it bigger. It's the same structure as what I just showed you, the content, which is a data source, the layouts, the components, etc. And let's just run the site. Actually, let's just go terminal, new terminal, Plenti serve, and just run it in, so it automatically goes to port 3000. So actually that's going to be this one, so let's just refresh. And there we go. So we get the same editing experience, where you can, change the text here, and it reflects over here the same. Have a look at this one too. You can see where you can add content types, blog pages. This has been set up so you can do that. You can see your code here in the JSON, just by flicking the view. I didn't show you that before, but basically that's it. Yep, I mean, this is a really basic site that just to get you started and to show you how it works. There's some example pages, but that's it. It's pretty basic. You can get to your media. There's only one. And then you can log out. So you log out. Now, if you wanted to log back in here, you can just go hash login, and it should log you in. Or maybe admin log back in. Okay, yeah, so not here. It hasn't been set up that way. It depends on how it's been set up. This set, it's got the admin through here. Otherwise, on the way I've set it up on my site, you can see this is a live site with the admin, but basically it works where you can log in with the / hash login like that. But I'm already logged in here, so that's about it. I think that's a pretty quick overview, really. All right, I hope that helped a bit. We can, discuss things more, and if you're interested. Thanks. Bye.